Hello everybody, Qapla, happy Labor Day. It's Monday, September 2nd, 2019. I can't believe it's already September. Wow. September 1st didn't have the same ugh to it, but today is really September. Yesterday was kind of like the very end of August. And when you're up to the 2nd, there is no denying you're now in September. Wow. So we've got a hurricane. Coming up the coast. Hope everybody is okay. I know, luckily, the track is seemingly not as bad as it could be, but it's still probably going to be dangerous, and we might even see it up here. We are just outside of the cone of uncertainty. And it will still be a hurricane in their projections, even as it hits Canada. What a storm. So hello everybody. Hector was actually, he was first-ish. I had just changed the thumbnail image when he said in Spanish, greetings, Birdo Prey 5. Well, greetings, Hector. Yo quiero Taco Bell. My Spanish, it's not so good. Cinnabon Bunny says it's about time. Welcome, Cinnabon Bunny. And Cinnabon says, oh, now we have to sit through a timer. Well, Cinnabon, it gives you a chance if you have to go, Jaloja real quick. You got a minute or 2 minutes or however many seconds to get back. And it also gives me a chance to get everything set up on my end, so I'm not taking your valuable time up trying to set up my tablet and whatnot. Also, it was very helpful for Josh Street to point out that there was no sound, which perhaps saved a little bit of confusion later on. Josh Street says, down with the evil god dictator of Karoga, Birdo Prey 5. Well, I'm not evil, so that can't be me. Life with Matthew says, Qapla, Birdo Prey 5, and all Qapla, Life with Matthew. Mike Richards says, greetings from Columbus, Ohio. Greetings, Mike Richards. Josh Street told me there was no sound. Thank you. And Cinnabon Bunny says, not one alpaca pic. Outrageous. And while there is an alpaca now, there wasn't. I will grant you there was no alpacas in my photo montage introduction. I'm sorry, I've never ever taken a picture of an alpaca or with an alpaca. There are some pictures of elk or moose. I forget which. I think in that list. Kronos is Qapla, Birdo Prey, and Minions of Prey. Josh reads his Cinnabon. There is a head of an alpaca in a jar with the name Birdo Prey 5 on it. I'm not an alpaca. Chris M. Collecting says, Birdo Prey 5, good afternoon, Bird. I'm sorry, what were you going to say? Oh, yes, Mamo Prey reminds us to switch over to live chat. And I am trying to speak a little bit more softly than usual, so I hopefully don't make the microphone buzz out. I listened to the last live stream, and man, the audio was so bad. Why didn't anybody say anything? The audio seemed worse than usual. And I know the audio isn't great. So I think if I try not to raise my voice as much, it will help Sassy be a little bit more comfortable. And perhaps I'll sound a little better to you guys. I hope. Maybe I'll turn the microphone just a little bit more towards me. Chris M. Collecting says, good afternoon, Bird. Good afternoon, Chris M. Collecting. Kronos says, don't forget the live chat. Thank you, Kronos. And 47 Yorktown. Welcome, 47 Yorktown. Says, hello, Mr. Bird. I don't want to go to school. 47 Yorktown. Let me tell you, when I was in school, for the most part, I've told you guys the junior high wasn't really my thing, but elementary school and high school, I generally really liked school, and one of the saddest songs to me, because you hear it at the end of the semester or the school year, was "See You in September." And I was just like, man, to a kid, 2 months off or whatever it is, it's like an eternity. Like, oh my God, my friends are going to be completely different. And sure, there were some friends you saw over the summer, but there were a lot you didn't. And, if you were a person who went away for the summer, like we did several years, then you might not see people for weeks or months at a time. And if your friends go away to camp, it's a big thing. It's a big thing for kids. At least it was. I mean, today, everybody's connected. You got your cell phone. It probably doesn't really matter where you are. You probably don't even see your friends in person anyway today. But back in the 80s and 90s, it certainly mattered. And it was so sad to me, the end of the school year. I mean, don't get me wrong. I looked forward to summer, too, for the most part. I definitely looked forward to not having to go to school. But I felt really bad. I was like going to miss a lot of people. Of course, my teachers, especially, I remember like my 5th grade teacher telling us this. And he was wrong. He was wrong. He was a good teacher, but he was completely wrong about this. He told us, he's like, you guys, he's like, this is elementary school. He's like, you guys aren't going to know each other years from now. He said, you guys aren't going to keep in contact for the most part. 1 or 2 people might have best friends, but he's like, you're going to forget each other by the time you get to high school. And then by the time you get to college, it's going to be over. You're not even going to remember each other's names. Totally wrong. He didn't understand or didn't predict Facebook. Now, the vast majority of my elementary school friends are now Facebook friends, and I honestly can keep up with just about every major detail in their life. We don't speak all that often. We did have a reunion just before I got sick. I met them all in the city, so that was like 10 years ago. So we were in our 30s. We just hit our 30s, and we all did a big reunion in New York City. So you know what? He was wrong about that. But I suppose he was going off of what it was like when he was that age. And, I guess you didn't remember your elementary school friends. And I get it. Especially in New York City, where classes tend to change and you get shuffled around and so much. You're not in one small town, so you don't see the same people every day, or they don't follow you through. I mean, it was a miracle, not a miracle really, but it was a, what should I say? Not a miracle, but an oddity that the majority of us all ended up in the same high school. Now, yes, we all kind of went our own ways for college, but by that time, email had come around, and by the time we were done with college, Facebook was just becoming a thing. So soon after, we all friended each other again. And even before Facebook, we were keeping up with the going-ons. There was an unfortunate suicide of one of my old elementary school friends, but we knew about it. That was before Facebook, I believe. Yeah, that was before Facebook. We went out there, but so it's not like even the parents kept in touch. The parents had grown bonds over the years, so I don't know.
Are you Facebook friends with your teacher?
Yes, I am. I'm Facebook friends with that teacher, my 3rd grade teacher.
Yeah.
I don't know about my 4th. I don't think I'm Facebook friends. 4th grade teacher just disappeared. But 5th grade, yeah, he's there, and 3rd grade, Facebook friends. Oh, it's a little weird when your 3rd grade teacher is giving a comment on your latest life developments, but It's fine. They're good people. But 47 Yorktown, I'm assuming you are out of school, so you don't have to go back. Although perhaps you do. I honestly don't know your situation. I do know that I get a dream quite often that I'm still in college and I've completely forgotten that I had classes and it's the end of the semester. And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't go. I was like, I don't even know when this class meets. I have like an English class. And I'm like, I haven't even been to the other side of the campus in a year. How did I forget this class happened? And I get this dream often, but not the same one, just the same situation, but different details. And I am so happy when I wake up and I'm like, phew, I'm out of college. I don't have to deal with that bullshit ever again. As much as I loved college, and don't get me wrong, if I could go back and do it again, I would. But the fact that I'm done with it, makes when you wake up from one of those dreams, like, oh, good. Never, ever again will I have to deal with that type of running around to a class or anything like that. I wouldn't mind, taking classes or something one day, perhaps. I mean, I don't think I need to, but if I had to, I wouldn't mind it, but it wouldn't be the same thing as actually going to college. Mike Richards says he's too old to be a minion. Kronos' age is relative. I agree. And 47 Yorktown says, but then he's 54. Okay, so 47 Yorktown, I'm pretty confident in calling it. You don't need to go back to school. Kronos says Back to School was a great movie. I liked Road Trip. Road Trip was a good college movie. Josh Street says, Mike, does Bird's Minions have a retirement plan? I hope. Continuum Trek says permission to come aboard. Granted, sir. I assume it's a sir. Granted, person. I assume it's a person. Granted, entity. Kronos' bird minions pray for an early death. That is not true. Kronos' Continuum Track granted. Thank you. Mike Richards' bird of prey don't like hurricanes. Nobody likes hurricanes. I mean, like weathermen probably like hurricanes, but nobody likes being in a hurricane. Well, some people do. But. Continuum Track says thank you, Kronos. Kronos says, here I am, rock you like a hurricane. Wow. Richie Poole says, hey guys, what's going on? Not much, Richie Poole. How are you? Welcome. Mike Richards says moose and squirrel. No, not moose and squirrel. Moose or elk. I can't tell the difference sometimes. Kronos says, hey there, Richie Poole. Moose and squirrel is what Alexander needs. Kronos says, I didn't notice a problem with yesterday's sound. Really? Surf Trictronic says, Captain Cavity Crusaders getting a movie. Captain Cavity Crusaders getting a movie? I mean, I can figure out Captain Cavity probably has something to do with teeth, but I don't know. Kronos says, just be yourself, Bird of Prey 5. Well, if I was being myself, things would be loud and Sassy would be running around and people would be crying in the streets. Richie Poole says, sounded fine to me yesterday. Yeah, maybe I was just too hard on myself. Mike Richards says, sound is good here. Great to hear. Kronos says, hey there, Mamo Pray. She's waving. John DeMarco says, hello all. Josh Reed says, Mamo Pray. Are you ready to get Sassy out of there if the hurricane goes your way? No, Sassy stays with us, okay? Sassy isn't going anywhere.
We hunker down.
We hunker down, says Mamo Pray. Kronos says, hey there, John DeMarco. Mr. Londell says, Qapla, Mr. Londell. And John Araki with a $1 super chat. Thank you so much, John Araki. Greatly appreciated. We'll see what you get. We will see what you get. Kronos says, the minions o' prey are gathering. Richie Poole says, yeah, Josh, sassy out, but leave bird behind. And John Araki got that jumping smiley faces. You might ask, why do we have jumping smiley faces? That is something that was quite popular on my forum, juot.net. It's the jump smiley, and it's kind of our oldest smiley, your custom smiley. So yeah, that's why it's here. Richie Poole says, yeah, Josh, sassy got out, but leave bird behind. Mike Richards says, Kronos or flocking. Josh Street says, Kronos, what do you call the minions of Anti-Trekker? Anti-minions? Multi-Gunman says, hey bird, how's it going? It's going well, Multi-Gunman. Kronos says, type R if you want the old bird, loud bird. And we got Kronos and Richie Poole and Multi-Gunman seems to be R. And Actor says, color saturation seems to be down on this channel. Yes, I noticed it's down too. I was messing with the camera, trying to stop the bright redness in my face. And I know I'm out of order. Anti-Trekker says, hey bird, good to see you. My ship is almost ready to take you on. Are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. Come to Earth and attack. So you want me to speak louder. I see. John DeMarco says, I haven't stayed in touch with anyone that I went to elementary school with, but I don't use Facebook either. I see. You got sassy upset. Kronos says, yo to the Multi-Gunman. Mike Richards says, Josh Street, turd heads. Yeah, turn on, says Kronos. Multi-Gunman says, Kronos, how's it going, my man? Kronos is doing alright. Multi-Gunman says, that's good. Kronos is kind of bummed that Bird is talking really quiet. Okay. No, that doesn't mean that there'd be no ranting. It just means that when I started ranting, it'd be all the more louder. And Multi-Gunman says, Bird's rants are epic. Thank you. Mr. Lundell says, I think you should refer to Turdistani citizens as turds. Oh, I do. Rock Solid Productions says, don't forget to smash that like button. John at Rocky with another $1 super chat got Hippie Spock. So Rock Solid says, don't forget to smash that like button, share via socials, set chat to live. Don't forget to turn on mic before streaming. Donate if you can. Down with YouTube censorship and MCU Aunt May jeans. Okay, Rock Solid. We got Docs. We got a Dax. We got Joseph Patrick donated through Streamlabs. You got the 1 in 5 Dax chance. Welcome, Joseph. Yeah, I'm sure you're down there in the comments. Richie Poole says, don't worry, Kronos, he will get loud when he yells, son of a bitch. John DeMarco says, Rants 101 with Professor Bird. Surf Tricktronics says, lol, I had those dreams all the time about forgetting a class and showing up for the final. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's just a dream. It's a popular dream, but man, it messes you up. Continuing Track says, I missed my reunions. I just didn't see the point. Lol. We've never had a proper reunion. New York City schools just don't do class reunions. I know it's a big thing elsewhere in the country, but not here. I mean, my high school did like one reunion for 20 years of graduates, all at the same time, and it's really just a fundraiser. So it wasn't even a reunion. Mike Richards is Thunderdome 2, Bird vs. Turds. Kronos says, I've had dreams where I forget what my classes were. Yeah, that's it. Miss Lodell says, Animal House, greatest college movie of all time. Joseph Patrick says, no notification, scandal. Anyway, I'm on the phone. I'll be with you in a few minutes. Hi, Joe, Mama Pray, Sassy, and the Quarty community. Thank you, Joseph. Richie Poole says, Kronos, I have dreams about getting to class and not knowing anything about the test being given. Yeah, it's a very popular dream. I think we all have the same the same variation.
I've been monitoring
Cronus.
communications with
And we got another John Araki. Oh, that was the John Araki super chat from earlier. Thank you so much, John Araki, with a $1 super chat. Chrono says, I take it that Bird doesn't recognize that song from the Scorpions. Nope. I've never even heard of the Scorpions as a musical band. John Araki says, Qapla, Qapla, John Araki. Joseph says, Kronos, not sure if Germans were famous in the U.S. The Germans were famous in the U.S.? Are they another band? Actor says, you have played so much Space Engineers that you wonder why Bird's bed seems to be made from blast door components. Wow. Wow. Yeah, this is actually blue behind me. But I've got the saturation turned down. So it looks black. Let me see. Let me see if I can fix the saturation. Edit. Move this over. Configure. Video input for some reason. Saturation. Oh, it's not the saturation. I think it's the white balance. There we go. There we go. Now I see that's way red. It's a fake! John Araki with another $1 super chat. Thank you so much, John Araki. Let's see. Let's bring the white balance up just a slight bit. I think that gives a little bit of color. Let's see. That's at 3,000. Where were we? So we can see the difference. 2,000. Yeah. 3,000. That's good. That should be good. I think everybody would be happy with that. Chrono says he don't know that band. Chris M. Collecting says, crying in the streets. Those were the good old days in Kuroga. And Chrono says, type R if you want Bird, Loud Bird. Yes, we got a few of them. John Araki again with another $1 super chat. John Araki, you're trying hard for Dax. I can feel it. You got ski clops. You got ski clops. I am so sorry. That is the opposite of Dax. And Anti-Tricker said if I was ready, of course I am. He just has to come to Earth. Multi-Gunman says Kuroga is always ready. Absolutely. And Kronos says Anti-Trigger. Oh, hey, it's you. Rock Solid says minions of Anti-Trigger are turds. Turdling, says Actor. Continuum track. I am a sir. I am. Sorosistin? Continuum track. I apologize. I do not know that word. If you have, I am sorry. Is that? But whatever you are, it is a sir. Thank you. Chrono says turdies, squirts. No, not squirts. Butt nuggets. Oh my god. No. No, Richie Poole. And Anti-Trigger says Bird, so you are not ready. Since you cannot meet me in a neutral location. Although you said natural, but that's fine. I know what you meant. No, Anti-Trigger, I am ready. Your ship simply can't go in gravity, and which seems like a building, a flaw in its design. I mean, there are planets, right? So, if your ship can't deal with gravity, whoops, and not my fault. Not my fault. John Araki with another $1 super chat. Thank you so much, John Araki. Let's see what you're going to get. It would have been nice if it lined up, but I have no control over when it pops up. Kronos' Bird of Prey. Turn it up to 11. No Dax. Some Jem'Hadar warships, but thank you, John Araki. Mike Richard says Richie Poole. What? Oh, I missed it. Where are we? Richie Poole, he's laughing. Chrono says Docs Dax. Did I say Docs? Multi-Gunman says Dex, Docs, Dex. Wow. Ducks, Docs, Dex, Docs, Dex. Okay, I get it. I get it, Multi-Gunman. Actor says, I'm wondering if Batwoman's costume would look right on Birdo Prey 5. John Araki says, Anti has nightmares about going to the proctologist. Anti-Trekker or Anti the dog? Because one is more disturbing than the other. Mike Richards says you left out Dix, which is probably just as well. Kronos says, looks like a dark blue to me. Okay, well, then I guess it looks better to you than it does to me. German Trekkie says, hi, Bird. Welcome, German Trekkie. You guys should check out both Continuum Trek and German Trekkie's channel. German Trekkie live streams a lot. I can't always catch it, but often I see Starfleet Bridge Commander. And once in a while, some other... He did a recent history of the Federation or the galaxy in the 2100s. Yeah, 2100s, which was really cool. I liked it a lot. Check out their channels. And, of course, obviously, Life with Matthew and Rambling Canuck. Their channels as well. Life with Matthew does great videos. Rambling Canuck does a lot of live streams. I missed his today, Rambling Canuck. If you're listening to this later, I do apologize. It was just really bad timing for me. Chronos says fake. Shronmore says greetings, Verbo Prey, Mamo Prey, and fellow nerds. Greetings, Shronmore. Chrono says, and hello all the new minions o' Prey. There's not a lot of new minions. We did get a nice little bump in subscribers because my Dave Chappelle's Sticks and Stones video has now passed 5,500 views. And of course the thumbs down just keep increasing. But we'll deal. We will deal. Certainly some new people have subscribed. I'd been in a lull for a long time, but in the last couple weeks we got quite a few more subscribers than we had gotten in the 2 weeks prior, or even the month prior, which was nice. Actor says, well, you touched the controls much, and now it looks the same as it did at the start of the stream. I think I got it back a little better. Shronmore says, in greetings to the Thunder Queen of Karoga, Sassy, Chaser of Cats, Eater of Cookies, Stalker of Cardinals, Defiler of Cushions, and Scourge of the Squirrels. She's not scourging. She's not a scourge to anyone right now. Corona says, is that what Vincent D'Onofrio... What is that? Is that the Vincent D'Onofrio with the laser beam eye? No, that was me. That was me in college with the laser beam. Josh Street says John is being taken to the poorhouse by Bird and kissing Dax. I feel bad. I do feel bad, John Araki. Surf Tricktonic says Emperor Palpatine has been hiding in Sassy the entire time. Could happen. I can neither confirm nor deny if Disney requested Sassy for a few days of shooting. Surf Tricktonic says Emperor... I just read that. Anti-Trigger says, notice how he did not read my comment out loud because he's afraid people will realize what a coward he is. I read it out loud as soon as you made it. I skipped it the second time. The Multi-Gunman says, Rock You Like a Hurricane by the Scorpions. Ah, it's a song, Rock You Like a Hurricane. No, I've not heard of it. Anti-Trigger says he won't meet me on a neutral site because he can't get off Earth. It's not that he can't get off Earth, I just don't see any reason to. Shronmore says, oh, hail, greetings to the mighty alpacas. Thank you, Shronmore. Cronus says, the alpaca Opre welcomes you, Shronmore. Anti-Trigger says, you know the game is called Space Engineers. Right? Not Crash Into the Dirt Engineers. I think they really wanted you to play it any way you wanted. Chief Cook says, hey guys, welcome Chief Cook. Mike Richards has shown more crosstown rivals of the Mighty Ducks. The Alpacas? German Trekkie says, have you heard about Sky Wanderer's anti-trekker? Kronos is anti-trekker from Bird's yesterday's stream. I thought you were called Jeep Engineers. Yeah. I wish they made up the game Jeep Engineers. Kronos says, hi there, Chief. Richie Pools says, Kuroga makes great Jeeps. Spaceships, not so much. Anti-trekker says, no German Trekkie, never have. Chief Cook says, hello, Kronos. Anti-trekker says, away from keyboard, be right back. And German Trekkie says, it was the 22nd century, my bad. Yes, the 2100s, the 22nd century. Actor says, Jeeps flying off cliffs, engineers. Schroemore says, Mike Richards, the Mighty Alpacas are to see both an interpretive dance troupe and blue wrenches on Bird of Prey. I don't think so. Kronos says, I hope someone recorded that. Recorded what? John DeMarco says, grind down the wreckage, engineers. Mike Richards is saying, Schroemore cool. Chief Cook says, what is Bird talking about today? Not much yet. German Trekkie says, well, it's the pre-alpha, but it looks pretty good. If you like space building and exploration, you should check it out, Anti-Trekker, and do some Sky Wanderers on Friday in my stream. It's a new game, Sky Wanderers. I get it now. Richie Pools says, Bird, if you start bitching about Brie Larson and Captain Marvel, your subscriber count will skyrocket. That's probably true, Richie, but I don't have any love for Brie Larson and Captain Marvel. But to be honest, since Marvel is not on my main radar, I mean, now that Endgame has come and gone, I just don't care anymore about Marvel. I didn't care that much to begin with. I don't care any now. So Brie Larson being in Marvel doesn't really even strike a chord to me. I just don't care. It's going to be like the next Star Wars. I don't care. I don't care anymore. Doesn't matter. The only thing I still care about is Star Trek, The Simpsons, those bastards, and some few other things. I mean, I'll try out new shows for sure. Another Life was just a disaster. I couldn't even finish watching it. I got 2 or 3 episodes in and called it quits. I watched an hour-long YouTube video titled Another Life is the worst TV show of 2019, or the worst Netflix has to offer in 2019. If you were going to watch Another Life, I strongly recommend you find that video. In about an hour, they tell you everything that's going to happen, and it's not good. It is not a good show. So that's, yeah. Another Life isn't, but I have hope. Not hope, really, but we're going to get some short tracks. We're going to get some Discovery. We're going to get some Picard. And love it or hate it. Probably will hate it, but either way, we'll have plenty to comment on with those. I am currently working on, first, I spent the better part of today learning how to use DaVinci Resolve, which I have always used Sony Vegas when editing videos. So like when I did the 25% difference video, I did it in Sony Vegas. And I was actually surprised because Sony Vegas didn't crash once on me doing the 25% different video. And I was like, oh, good. Sony Vegas actually got more stable since last time I used it, because it's been a while since I had done a big edited video. I was really happy, so I was looking forward to. I actually started my next video that I'm planning on releasing, which are my 5 top episodes of TOS. And I started working on it a couple of days ago and in Vegas. And then this morning I was doing some more editing, and I got 2 crashes of the software in a row. And I've had this happen before in Vegas, and nothing ever stops it. Once it crashes, unless I want to start the project over again, the project is gone. It's not even worth trying. Usually this doesn't happen till the end, so I was kind of lucky it happened so early. So I said, F it, and I started using Resolve, which Anti-Tracker and Mr. Miles have long been proponents of, but I had stuck to Sony Vegas. Not Sony. Sony sold it years ago. It's now a company called Magix. But Vegas is just a cash cow. They add one new feature every year, and then they charge $250 to $300 for the upgrade to just get the one new feature. And I've been doing this upgrade for several years now, smacking myself each time, because I'm like, oh, maybe this next one is going to be more stable. And it's never more stable. It works for like a week, a month, and then it's done. It bugs out. So far, and granted I've only been using it half a day, DaVinci Resolve is looking good. Now it's taking me twice as long at least to do everything, because I'm learning it for the very first time in DaVinci Resolve, but I really hope once I get this down pat, future video edits will be quicker. And if you want to see, let me see, do I have desktop? Yes, I do. Here's desktop. You can see kind of what's going on here in DaVinci Resolve, and here, if I'll hit play. In this video, I'm going to list my top 5 Star Trek, the original series episodes of. So, yeah, you can hear, I mean, it's so easy to actually play it in reverse. It sounds like I'm speaking Russian, but it's actually just
And even
English.
the ones I do list are basically all so close together.
Yeah, so, I mean, I still have a ways to go. I've got about 11 minutes of audio, but I've got to stick in a whole bunch of clips and graphics. So it's going to take probably all week before I finish this video, if I'm lucky. But I'm really getting used to it. I like it. I do enjoy it. So hopefully that will be a nice advantage going forward. John DeMarcus is grinding down that record, engineers. Yeah, well, Joseph commented that as soon as I started grinding down the wreckage yesterday in Space Engineers, he fell right asleep. So first like, oh, good, I'm glad I was able to get him to sleep. But then I realized, was it that boring? I guess it was. I guess grinding down a Jeep is not the most interesting thing to watch. However, I am glad Joseph got a good night's sleep out of it.
Just a good old boy.
Suspected spam reported as telemarketer. Then don't even bother me with it. I don't get it. What about the bird talking? What bird talking about today, says Chief Cook. I read that already, didn't I? German Trekkie says it was pre-alpha, but it looks pretty good if you like space building. I read that too. Where are we? Oh man, where? We're not too bad. Richie Pools is bird if you start. Oh, I read that too. Man. So the subscriber count. Yeah, subscriber count's not doing bad. It's been doing pretty good. Actor says Do no frio. Thank you, Actor. Wesley says Bird of Prey. Hi man, welcome Wes. Hector says it's an Italian surname. Ah, I had no idea. And Cronus says, hey to Wes. Mr. Lundell says, how did you make it out of the 80s and not know who the Scorpions were? Well, Mr. Lundell, and I've told this story many a times, I did not listen to music. I didn't listen to any music as a kid. Didn't give a shit about music. Not in elementary school. Not in junior high school. not even in high school. It was only at the very, very end of high school did I only just start to try to get into music, and it was really just TV soundtracks at the beginning. And over that first summer between high school and college, and then that first year of college, did I transition into becoming a fan of Frank Sinatra. And over the next few years in college, I got exposed to a lot of different types of music. And I have a very eclectic musical taste. And I know what I like, and I just have I've basically had the same MP3 library since 2002. I've added songs, sure, but the base 80% hasn't changed. That's it. And those are the songs I like. I don't ever foresee needing to change them. I know, I have weird taste. I don't give a shit about current and popular music. My sister's like, oh, you got so many MP3s, can you make me a CD? I was like, yeah. She's like, okay, I want this and this and this. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, okay. I was like, how about this? I'll just get you now, that's what I call music, and you can deal with that, because I don't know. If it's not on those CDs, I don't even want to know about it. Actor says he was too young, nerdy. Well, no, it wasn't even young and nerdy. I mean, I just didn't care. I had a friend who came over, and they liked music, so we'd have MTV on for some reason. I hated it. But I do remember, I think, the song Janie's Got a Gun. But that was it. I mean, I didn't like the song, but I was just kind of forced to watch it. German Trekkie says hello to Joseph Petrick, as does Schronmore. Chrono says Bird of Prey recorded interesting moment of your stream yesterday, like the bird being chased by the demonic jeep. Thank you so much, Joseph. Joseph Patrick donated another $2. The stream was not boring. Simply 6 hours, and I'm sorry I couldn't read the rest. I couldn't read it. But thank you so much, Joseph. I understand. The stream was not boring. Point received. Actor says, yes, Anti-Truckers plays other games, leaves Turdistan to the guys in a week or two. Cronus says, here I was hoping Bird mentioned The Simpsons. There could have been a rant. I don't know. I'm a little... I can tell more if it is. And it stopped. It stopped before I even picked up the phone. It says suspected spam. Hello? Sounds like there's somebody there. Hello? There's nobody. Bastards. A voicemail, I bet. Not. Spam. It's all garbage. German Trekkie says, well, I cared about Spider-Man, left the MCU again. Now I don't care anymore. Richie Poole says, another life is horrible. I agree. Joseph Pedrick says, Bird of Prey, you need to use more words like MCU, shill media, claim you know comics. I can't stand Nerdrotic. He talks poop just for the clicks. Use 10 words for everything. Joseph, I really like Nerdrotic. I understand. I can understand he's not for everyone. But the guy knows comics. I mean, he had a comic book store for a decade, I believe. I mean, he knows comics. I have no idea about comics. I've said it before. The only comic book I've ever read was Garfield books. And, yeah, that's why we got Garfield up there. I never used to read old comic books. I mean, like actual comic books. Never read them. Never watched them. Never cared. Not that I'm saying there's anything wrong with it. Just wasn't me. Wasn't for me. But Nerdrotic knows comics, and I really like Nerdrotic when they do Exozone. Him and Doomcock. But I do hear ya. However, you can vote by coming to my stream, which you did. So thank you so much. Nerdrotic is actually streaming right now. So thank you for being here, and for everybody else who's chosen to stay here. I understand. But I do like Nerdrotic personally. I like his streams. We can disagree. It's fine. John DeMarco says, at least we don't have more Orville to look forward to. Yes, but it's such a long time away. Shromore is waiting for season 2 of Narcos Mexico. I'm not sure what Narcos Mexico is. Actor says, German Trekkie, you aren't excited for The Amazing Spider-Man 3. And Joseph says, German Trekkie, Kronos, good to read you, gentlemen. Good to read you. Mr. Lundell says, swap out Another Life for Dark Crystals. I've never heard of Dark Crystals. Corona says, Joseph, ditto. Actor says, Another Life is horrible. To Mr. Lundell. Multi-Gunman says, Mr. Lundell. Mr. Lundell's Groovy Movies, is the new Dark Crystals a movie or TV series? That's a good question. Kronos says, the shows are both on Netflix, right? And he says Hector says it's a TV series on Netflix. Richie Poole says, have you seen the Katie Sackhoff in 2036 Unknown Origin? Very boring, maybe even worse than Another Life. I have not. Katie Sackhoff isn't the problem with Another Life. It's everyone else in the writing. German Trekkie says, I not only did like Katie Sackhoff in, Battlestar Galactica, which I'm sure the majority of people here probably did, but I loved her in Longmire, which wasn't space-based at all. It was a Western, almost. It was a Montana Sheriff's Department. And I loved Longmire. It ran for 3 or 4 seasons, and then another couple of seasons on Netflix. And she was a star. She was one of the starring characters. I suggest you guys check out Longmire. It's on Netflix if you like Katie Sackhoff. Kronos says, I dropped Netflix like a cheap suit. Well, then you didn't get to see the Chappelle special. Josh Reed says, watch Bird or Trekyard's Commander Cockings and his Stargate stream. Well, watch me. Okay, I mean, we like Trekyard's too, but I need your views more than Trekyard's. Actor says, I think I saw all 10 minutes of it before getting bored, Richie. Josh Reed says, Trekyard streaming Stargate. That would explain why Mr. Miles is over there. Oh, they're streaming Stargate right now? Well, I can't blame Mr. Miles for that. German Trekkie says, I would recommend Premiere Pro. Well, I don't have the money for Premiere Pro. The Multi-Gun Man says, Archer's a really good show, Bird. It's available on TV. Can't remember the channel. It's also on Netflix. Yeah, I've seen quite a few episodes of Archer, to be honest. It comes on at night. It used to come on at night on FXX when I used to watch FXX. It was good. I didn't love it. It wasn't a show that I would take time out of my day to watch, but it was a show I would watch if I was already watching TV. Of course, there's just so little time I'm actually watching TV these days. YouTube has replaced the vast majority of my TV time, and when I do have the TV on, it's usually the news or the Weather Channel, which has been on in this house for 2 days watching the hurricane, or the Science Channel. My main channels in order: the Science Channel, History Channel, Smithsonian Channel, BBC America, because it has Star Trek, and one more. History. No, not sci-fi. Jesus, not sci-fi. History, Science, BBC America, Smithsonian, and there's one other channel, I forget what it's called, but it also has like Discovery Channel type stuff on it. And also I've been watching Paramount Network, but only because they've had the series Yellowstone, but its 2nd season just ended. Yellowstone season 2 was really good up until the last episode. And then it just got like, wait, that went way too easy. Way too easy. Of course, there's going to be a third season. They confirmed that at the end of the second episode, because I honestly thought that could have been the series finale. But nope, they confirmed there's a third season, and Sawyer from Lost is going to be on it. He's also on the USA series with Wayne Brady. That's a good series, Colony. I don't know if it's over, but Colony on USA is a great sci-fi series about. Well, not great. Let me bring that back in. Colony on USA is a decent sci-fi series since we have no other great series airing right now. I mean, if you put Colony up against Orville or The Expanse or any competent Star Trek, no, then it's not great. But when there's nothing else on, it is a million times better than Another Life. So yeah. Multi-Gunman says, I always go back and read the last one I already read. Richie Poole says, Actor doesn't get any better. It's really bad. German Trekkie says, I edit my stuff with it. Wow, very cool. I believe it's expensive. Whereas Resolve, DaVinci Resolve, is actually free. Actor says, I think Mr. Miles will be throwing super chats in that stream. Well, you know what? If they get super chats, then they'll keep doing it, which is the way the world works. Miss Lundell says, Dark Crystal is a prequel series to the movie. Watch the series first, then watch the movie. I've never heard of the movie, so that would be not a problem. Okay, let's try and bang out these comments. German Trekkie says, but Resolve is good too. Multi-Gun Man says, I saw movies when I was a kid. I really liked it. I'll check out the series. He's talking about Dark Crystal. Chrono says, Dark Crystal is available on Amazon Prime. I still need to see it. Richie Poole says, Bird, did I hear that right? You are doing your top 5 Star Trek TOS episode video? Yes. Yes, I am, Richie Poole. That is due to be the next video I have released. Mr. Miles has joined the stream. Welcome, Mr. Miles. He said, did you get Resolve figured out? Mr. Miles, I have it figured out enough that I've been able to go on editing the video. Hopefully, I will get to the end. I mean, it's going to take me probably all week to edit it correctly, but yes, I've got it figured out for now. Actor says, every time I'm hoping for Bird to say to a spammer again that he wants the Spanish operator. I forgot about that. Multi-Gunman says, Kronos, I think it's on Netflix too. At least the series is. German Trekkie says, yes, it is, Multi-Gunman. Kronos says, I got into the music around junior high. You see, that would have probably been normal. That may probably mean you had a normal childhood. Actor says, living youth without music. Wow, yeah, well, it was different. Richie Poole says, same here, Bird. Music was dead to me until my college years. Well, thank you, Richie. Now I don't feel so different. Actor says, well, we like Star Trek. Bird has a very focused taste. Yes. Mike Richards says, a man without music has no soul. Well, I listen to music now. Surf Trictronics says, Bird likes Skillex? Skillex. Mr. Londell says, my musical tastes are eclectic too. That's basically a way of saying I don't know what I'll like. John DeMarco says, I also prefer soundtracks much of the time. Modern pop music just doesn't interest him. I get it. Richie Poole says, MP3 library. I have a CD library that hasn't changed in 20 years. Well, you see, the good thing about the time I was getting into music was the time Napster existed. That brief time in the evolution of human culture when every song you could imagine was available for free. And I used to go visit Sister O'Prey up at her college he was going to SUNY Buffalo. Now, I was going to Hofstra on Long Island. Hofstra was a beautiful college, but their internet, not the greatest. SUNY Buffalo had amazing fast internet and a hell of a lot more students than Hofstra. Plus, Hofstra kept their dorm network separate from the rest of the school, so it was kind of annoying. So, when I'd go up and visit her for a weekend, I could download in virtually infinite number of songs in minutes. Okay, and I would download everything I could. I ended up getting rid of 99% of it because it was all junk. But the few I kept, I mean, I did end up buying CD copies later on just because I wanted the better quality. Because in the 90s, the MP3s were, if they were 128K, you were lucky. But it let me experience a hell of a lot more music than I ever would have. Sure, I said no. I don't know what the term today is. Swiped. I don't know. I don't know which way you're supposed to swipe on Tinder if you don't like somebody, but I would swipe right on a bunch of those songs, assuming right is bad. Or is right good? I have no idea. Let's see. What would be more natural? If I like somebody, I'd put them in the like pile. If I dislike somebody, I would discard them. So I guess left. I'm assuming swiping left means you don't want to see them. So I would swipe left on most of those songs. That's what you would say today. Chrono says, yeah, my music tastes are all over the place as well. And MTV in the days played, yes, MTV played music. They did. Sharon says, Bird of Prey, I was pretty much in the same when it came to music. I only really started listening to music when I was in my final 2 years of secondary school, high school. Wow, so you see, there's a lot of us out there. Actor says, if you lived in the 80s music, if you have the 80s music, you have plenty. Richie Poole. Multi-Gunman says, did you ever listen to grunge music, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, etc.? There is only one Pearl Jam song in my collection of music, and no, for the most part, no grunge music. Just a lone Pearl Jam song whose name escapes me, but let me see. Let me see if I can bring it up. Obviously, I can't play it, but I'm curious now because I do know Pearl Jam is in there. Let's see. I still have, even though I never listen anymore via my computer, like I still have a music folder. Now when I'm listening, it's usually on Alexa. Thankfully, she didn't turn on. Okay, music. Pearl Jam. Come on. What do we got? What do we got? Working on it. No items. Come on. I know there's a Pearl Jam in there. I know there's a Pearl Jam. Compact flash. Maybe there isn't. I don't know. All Sinatra and Friends, Billy Joel, Joe's Picks. I probably should have just searched for Pearl. Pearl Jam, Last Kiss. I don't even remember what it is, but Last Kiss, Pearl Jam is the one Pearl Jam song on my best of the best picks. Kronos says, lol, there may be a rant on the way. Maybe. Kronos says, the multi-gunman, yes, ×3. Richie Poole says, actor, yes, it's mostly 80s music, a real treasure trove. Multi-gunman says, Kronos grunge music is the best. Actor, Multi-Gunman says, the only comics I read were Archie comics. German Trekkie says, well, I have to do some work. I'll catch up later with you all. Take care, German Trekkie. Thanks for coming. Schromer says, Bird of Prey, don't call those numbers back. They are often premium telephone numbers. A few people are left with large bills here in Ireland. No, I never call them back. But thank you. And Richie Poole says, I choose Bird of Prey 5. Thank you, Richie Poole. Actor says, you should appear on Exozone, Joe, as a guest or a talking point. Yes, I should. Maybe one day. Mr. Miles says, what are we disagreeing on first? Welcome, Mr. Miles. German Tricky says, Kronos. Mike Richards says, I'm old. So classic rock for me. Wesley says, hi, Joe. Welcome again, Wes. Kronos says, German Trekkie, thought you were leaving. Agnes says, the Trek Yard stream finished finally, Mr. Miles. Richie Poole says, classic rock is awesome. Josh Street says, Mr. Miles, did Commander finish his Stargate ship stream? And Kronos says, German Trekkie, so I said later. Joseph says, Bird of Prey, I wrote that the stream was not boring. I simply 6 hours ahead of you and was past 1 a.m. Also writing this at 11:50 p.m. And for sure we can disagree. It does not make us enemies. Well, thank you, Joseph. And thank you for the kind words. And thank you for pointing out that it wasn't me who put you to sleep, per se. Mr. Londell says, I'm debating whether I'll purchase Hulu for Orville. Not certain what else they show and if it'll be worth it. Well, it's certainly worth it to purchase it for a month if you need to, just to binge it. Yeah, I don't know what else will be on Hulu by the time Orville comes on, like a year and a half from now. Crazy. German Trekkie says, Kronos, all good, but bye now. Mr. Miles says, no, he's still doing the stream. Wow, Mr. Miles, you left a Stargate stream? I am touched. Joseph says, Katie Sackhoff would be a perfect Captain Marvel. I like her despite her choices of roles. And actor says she's too old for that. Yeah, she's getting a little old to play Captain Marvel, but you know what? Still would have been a better choice. Joseph says, German Trekkie Tishus. Curtis says, Joseph didn't care for her in Battlestar Galactica. Would make a good Captain Marvel. Okay, Kronos, you didn't care for her in Battlestar Galactica. Mr. Miles is actor. I would have super chatted if I could. I just corrected Cockings. He kept calling the F302 the X302. Sigh. Amateurs. Mr. Miles says, but I'm broke, so yeah. I'm sorry to hear that, Mr. Miles. Actor says that, but they want those young actors for sequels, indeed. And Kronos says Sackhoff at least has a better buttocks. Kronos is going cree. Joseph says, I have a weakness for sporty blonde women, married one. Very cool. Cinnabon says, Animal Planet. No, Animal Planet is not one of the channels I watch. I don't care. I don't watch alpacas. I only watch alpacas on YouTube. Actor says you like the new Herminator then. If you're talking to me, no. Kronos says, Joseph, well, there you go. Miss Lindell says, if you get an antenna, you can get all the track shows 6 nights a week. Really? I have an antenna, but it's crappy. Mr. Miles says, Joseph, this doesn't really matter much, but women are blonde. For the guys, it's spelled blonde without an E. Doesn't really matter, but women are blonde. B-O-L-N-D-E. But for guys, it's blonde without an E? Did you know that?
Never heard of it.
Mamo Prey's never heard of it.
But I think I've seen the word without the E.
Yeah, I've seen it with and without the E, too, but I just didn't know there was any rules to it. Mr. Miles says it's a gender-specific word, oddity. Really? Richie Poole says, Kronos, check out Another Life. Check out episode 8 of Another Life if you want to see more of Katie's buttocks. Kronos says, I'm sure the interwebs have plenty of her buttocks. Not going to Netflix. Mr. Miles' Bird of Prey, did you get Resolve figured out? I think I did, yes. Actor says he just talked about it. Alexander is in the house. Alexander says, Bird of Prey, what's your favorite kind of porn? Captain, okay, prefers, okay. Well, don't really have a favorite, Alexander. Not really an issue these days. But in the time, Star Trek, yes. Actor says he's soldiering on. Joseph Patrick says I might be a minority, but I like the new Terminator trailer.
Frank blonde is the masculine.
In French, blonde is the masculine. So maybe it carried over. Joseph might be a minority. You're a minority, Joseph. Congratulations. You're eligible for financial aid. But I like the new Terminator trailer. Sarah Connor is a badass character, and I think they might be able to give us a strong female trio without the agenda. I have faith. Joseph, good for you. I applaud your faith. I am still not sure whether that's a trio of women or if that one person is a guy or a girl. I say the jury's out. I don't want to know, but I can't assign a gender to what I see on screen. It has boggled the mind. Josh Street says, Nerdrotic is live. Funny everyone is streaming when Bird goes live. Actor says, without agenda, we've seen different trailers and heard another director than Joseph. Chrono says, Josh Street, same thing happens to Anti-Trigger when he's live. Well, I think there are probably better times to go live. Like I try to go live around 5 p.m. Eastern, so that's it's a pretty popular time. Joseph says, Actor, good to be good and do not kill my hopes. I want them to die in the cinema. Wesley says, what the heck is Bird talking about? I don't know. Music. Oh, music. Mr. Miles says, I'm left-handed, so left is wrong. Unsubbing. Joseph says, I have a fairly good overview of today's music, but I still revert to Mike Oldfield. Chrono says, not again, Miles. Jeez. Actor says, I won't see Dark Fate in the cinema. Neither will I, but I don't see anything in the cinema. John DeMarco says, me too, Mr. Miles. We lefties are always being discriminated against. Mr. Miles says, John DeMarco, where is our SJW movement? We're the forgotten, the ignored minority. Richie Poole is left-handed too. I'm not. Actor says, last Terminator movie I saw in cinema was 3. John DeMarco says, we should demand more left-handed representation in media. You had, right, on The Simpsons, you had Ned Flanders, you had the Leftorium. You had a whole episode dedicated to left people. Mr. Miles says, damn right. Chrono says, I like the Terminator from 3. The Terminatrix from 3. Joseph says, lefties in the chat, so much agenda, lol. Actor says, left-handed redheads. Mr. Lundell says, so Mr. Miles, John DeMarco, and myself are Southpaws. Cool. Mr. Miles says, the word sinister, meaning pretty much evil, was taken from the Latin word for sinistra, meaning left-sided, aka left-handed. Yes, we all know. We all know you're evil, Mr. Miles. Saying something is right to mean correct is racist against left-handed people. Left-handed people is not a race, so... Joseph Patrick says, Kronos, yo, another cold blonde. The movie was not that good, but the red dress. Richie Poole says, right is wrong. Of course he does. Mr. Miles says, down with the right archy. Yes, the right archy. Sassy, are you lefty or righty, baby? She's ambidextrous, says Mama Pray. Mr. Miles says, down with the right archy. Actor says, plenty of Mortal Kombat. Plenty of her in the Mortal Kombat TV series. Cheesy and bad as the series it was full of eye candy. John DeMarco says, why is the button on the right side page on YouTube more left-handed racism? Mike Richards says, I admire lefties. The ones I've met were into arts of various kinds. Mr. Miles says, why do left-handed people products cost more? Oppression. Kronos says, slaps forehead, Miles is starting some kind of revolution. If you want the left-handed car, Mr. Miles, you gotta go to England. Mr. Miles says, Mike Richards, yeah, that seems to be a common thread for left-handers, usually into art of some sort. Actor says the same reason diet food is costlier even if it's cheaper to make. Miss Londell says, just learn to use right-handed stuff. John DeMarco says, use right-handed stuff. Triggered. Mr. Miles says, I've been talking about starting fake SJW movement for left-handers. Take almost every talking point SJW use and apply it to being left-handed. Maybe you should actually do it. I agree. Excuse me. Corona says he doesn't have a problem with lefties until you started the whining. Hector says now Joe is really behind. How far? Okay, not too bad. Joseph says not a native speaker, so alt-right actually means alternative right, so basically left. Correct. Yes, Joseph. Alt-right means left. Actually, alt-right has no real meaning. Where are we? Sorry. There we go. Miss Lundell is laughing at John DeMarco. Mr. Miles is triggered with Cree. Kronos' Bird of Prey didn't care for gender character switch for Starbuck. Okay. But she was good. Kronos says, lol, that's Bird's call. Cree. Is that my call? Miss Lundell says, Bird of Prey. Do a rescan of the OTA stations and look for a network named Heroes and Icons. They show treks 6 nights a week. Okay, well, I will try that. Thank you. I actually have to rescan my over-the-air stations anyway because a bunch of channels changed at the beginning of last month. Mike Richards says, we have a station in Columbus, Ohio. Mr. Miles says, Joseph, alt-right doesn't mean left. No, well, we don't know what it means. Anti-Trigger says, I've used Premiere Pro for years. Resolve is better, more stable, and more cost-effective. Welcome back, Anti-Trigger. Mr. Lundell says, I see you have the same question about the androgynous character on Another World, too. There's an androgynous character? If there is, I forgot. Shronmore says, Bird of Prey. Viewers of Animal Planet are by 42.2% by people interested in nature, 5.4% by people channel surfing, and 52.4% of viewers who are furries. While I am not an Animal Planet viewer, none of those really apply. I haven't surfed channels in years. There's just too many to surf. I honestly only switch back between the handful I like. Mr. Miles says, Anti-Trigger, you are welcome. Joseph says, blonde versus blonde, the more you know. Thanks for the lesson. None of the words were underlined with red, so grammatically both are correct. Now to understand the semantics. Alexander says, Bird of Prey, do you like pie? I very much like, I like pie. Okay, Alexander says, Bird of Prey, do you like pie? I like very much pie. It's tasty to eat, but I know that Captain, so-and-so, prefer to put his rectum. I don't judge him, no discrimination. Okay, Alexander. Joseph says, Mr. Miles was sarcasm, not sure if it came through. Mr. Miles says, Joseph, I thought you were actually asking, never mind. Yeah, it's hard to tell. Ms. Mouse's Bird of Prey, don't ever go with Adobe over Resolve. If you look up Resolve versus Adobe with recent videos on YouTube, you see people leaving Adobe for Resolve in mass. Wasn't planning on it. Agnes says the principal problem is the change in interface. Yes. Ms. Mouse says, Joseph, and no worries. Thanks for not taking it as me correcting you. Some people do this. I'm more sharing the info because I find it interesting rather than correcting people. Actor says between the two. Mike Richards says hi to Anti-Trigger. Joseph says Mr. Miles. Nah, lots of things would sound different than they look on paper. And actually, with blonde versus blonde, I learned something today. And Schroenmore says Sassy is stalking something or someone in the backyard. With somebody in the front, actually. We have a house that was sold across the street, and there's been a lot of trucks back and forth lately doing God knows what there. Mr. Miles says, congrats, I'm caught up, says Richie Poole. Thank you. Which means now we can get into, drop the balloons, which means we can get into some of the articles? I don't know. I forget. It's been so long. It's been so long since I got the breath. Okay, well, we got Hurricane Dorian. So we can see over here in New York, I'm in the 20% chance of tropical storm force wind by Saturday. So really worried. I got a lot of family right here on the Florida coast. Most of them aren't leaving to go inland, so they should be okay. Yeah, one family member, well, actually one and his wife, are leaving Orlando today to go back to the coast because the Lord told them the hurricane was going to break up. So I hope they are right. So we will see if it comes true. Then I guess we've answered a question. The hurricane is going to break up. They didn't say it was going to turn.
No.
They said it was going to break up.
I actually said it was breaking up.
Oh, it was already breaking up. Well, it is actually down in speed. I'll give it that. I mean, this morning when I woke up, it was still 185 miles per hour. Last I saw it was 150, or even less.
Everyone would be safe.
Yes, want everybody to be safe. Then, this was put in the link yesterday, but here it is. If you go to paradoxplaza.com, you can go to on sale. This is the maker of City Skylines and some other popular games. Obviously, I play City Skylines quite a bit. All the City Skylines and its add-ons are on sale. So check it out. There's pages. There's 16 pages. I think every product they have is probably on sale. So if you're interested in looking for games on sale, and they have some pretty good games. They got Hearts of Iron 4, which Darth Calhoun plays quite a bit. I like City Skylines. Now, they do not make Space Engineers, but they make some other good ones. So check out Paradox Interactive if you are interested. Got a few interesting articles. The Pope gets stuck on a Vatican elevator. Firefighters had to rescue him. I don't know. It's just funny. I don't know. Funny. Interesting that the Pope gets stuck in an elevator. I mean, I guess if there's an elevator in the Vatican, I mean, let's face it, they didn't build any of those buildings with elevators. It had to be something retrofitted in. But thankfully he's okay. Then there's this one, which I don't know how to feel about. I hate that I'm not upset about it. That's the thing. A guy got convicted in Pennsylvania of recklessly pointing his finger, making a gun out of his finger and aiming it at his neighbor and boom, going like he was going to shoot his neighbor. And it's caught on video. So he was walking down the street, he saw his neighbor who he feuds with all the time. Apparently both sides dislike each other. The neighbor supposedly gave him the middle finger, and so the guy did this and did boom and kept walking. And apparently the neighbor got scared after that because he did that, and the neighbor knew he had the guy on camera doing it, so he called the police. And the police arrested the guy. Now, it was only a misdemeanor. It was only a $100 fine. But still, in the United States of America, should you have the right to just make a fake gun and point it at somebody? It's a tough one. It is so close to free speech, but it is also so close to making a direct threat, right? If you told your neighbor in words, I'm going to shoot and kill you, that is not free speech. That's not. But is that a threat? I can see why some people would say it is. But it hurts. It hurts my brain. I don't like it. I don't like saying that's a threat. I don't like agreeing with this. Now, they appealed it. The appeal got upheld. The conviction got upheld. The guy was only ordered to pay a $100 fine plus court costs, so he's not going to jail. He's not going to spend any time in prison. He's not becoming a felon, right? He doesn't lose his right to own a firearm, if he has any. I don't know if he does. It's just a misdemeanor. But if they can get you on a misdemeanor, then it could be a felony, right? If it's against the law, then it's only to say what the punishment is. That's all that needs to change. And it really bothers me. Because here's the video. The guy saw his neighbor giving him the finger, and he stopped, and he's made the boom, I'm going to shoot you, and kept walking. I don't know. If it was really neighbors feuding, I'd probably say, if I was the police, I'd say sorry. That's can't do anything about it. But if, God forbid, that guy ended up dead the next day, then the police were in a no-win scenario here. I don't want to have to arrest a guy for doing that, but I also don't want to be the one who has to explain why the guy died the next day if nothing happened. If I was a police called out and like, how do you explain? Well, we had a record of him calling you because this guy gave us death threat and you did nothing. So it's a very morally upsetting thing because, there's no bigger pro Second Amendment person than me out there. But this is a free speech issue. This isn't Second Amendment. If he was actually holding a gun and pointed it at the neighbor, that's menacing. That is against the law. This, I'm less sure. Mr. Miles says it's a threat to point a pop-out gun at someone and pull the trigger. Is it a threat? Well, here it is, Mr. Miles. If they think it's a real gun and they shoot you back, they probably, depending on the state, New York City, even if you shoot someone back who's shooting you, you can be arrested for illegally using a gun. Even if you legally own the gun, you're not legally allowed to shoot somebody in New York City, regardless of the circumstances. So, if literally somebody was coming at me with a knife, and I shoot and kill them with a gun I legally own, New York City is still going to put charges against me for using the gun. Which is crazy, but it happens. It happens. So if you're in Texas or Florida, where you're allowed to shoot back, you're allowed to stand your ground and stuff. If you saw somebody aim a cap gun at you or a pop gun at you, and it looked black, it looked like a real gun, it didn't have the orange plastic cone on the end, and you literally believed that it was, and you had reason to believe, that, hey, that guy hates me, he's told me he's going to shoot me before, and I shot him first, I would say you've got a really good chance of not being charged. But can he point a toy gun at you? Probably. Should the cops be called if he points a toy gun at you? Well, maybe, but then they come and investigate and they say it was a pop gun, and they say, well, it was a pop gun, and I don't know. This is what I hate. I hate that I could go either way. It would depend on the circumstances. The law needs to be more definitive, and I don't like it. Shromore says, Bird of Prey, there was no sound. He may have attempted to misgender his neighbor. Misgendering, I don't think, was part of it. Bird of Prey, if you can point a toy gun at someone and pull the trigger, not threatening at all, but if they have the exact same thing with their finger, it's threatening. Well, Mr. Miles, no. I mean, it depends on the situation, right? I mean, if you're shooting at a neighbor who you are feuding with, I can understand it as a threat. Obviously, if you do that to your friend or a family member, they're probably not going to run to the police. And if they don't run to the police, it's not really legal because they didn't take it as a threat. I think the problem here was that this was considered a threat. What they had argued was that his action. Okay, what the defense argued was that his actions were too minimal to be considered criminal, and that he had no interest to cause public alarm or create hazardous conditions. What the prosecutors said is that there was sufficient evidence of his act mimicking his shooting his neighbor created a hazardous condition, and that's what he was convicted on. I don't like it. I don't like it. According to court documents, Kircher made the offending gesture on June 7, 2018, while walking past Klingson's house. Both their names start with K. With another neighbor, Elaine Natore, who wasn't in the video. The two men locked eyes as passed the lawn as a publicly unknown feud that also involved the woman. Kircher testified that Kingston flipped him off with both hands, so he simply returned fire, so to speak. The incident was captured on surveillance camera that the other neighbor had installed in his home because of the bad blood with his neighbors. Kingston said Kircher's finger gun, which according to court was seen recoiling, made him feel extremely threatened, prompting him to call 911. An eyewitness who also called the police, so somebody else watched this and also called the police, said she saw Kircher, who was wearing shorts and flip-flops, put his finger up like he was going to shoot the neighbor. According to the Washington Post, courts have repeatedly found people guilty of finger gun-related crimes. Wow. Last year, a 58-year-old Ohio man was arrested on aggravating menacing charge for allegedly making a finger gun at the driver in front of him, causing the man to fear he would be shot. How do you prove that if there's no video? The aftermath of Sandy Hook's school shooting in 2012, school administrators began disciplining students for the use of imaginary guns and weapons. Yes, that was... Listen, Sandy Hook was terrible, unfortunate, act of barbarism. But schools going into lockdown for ridiculous people, a kid drawing a gun in crayon, that's bullshit. That is bullshit. It keeps coming back to the meme of a cloud-shaped gun causing the school to go in lockdown because a cloud that's shaped like a gun is passing over. So I'll be honest, I disagree with a lot of it in school. I'm really shocked to hear that people are already being arrested for it. A rash of high-profile mass shootings in recent years have only increased calls for regulation of gun ownership as well as gun culture. Well, this has nothing to do with gun ownership nor gun culture. And whatever. We can get into gun control one day, but that's not this. So yeah, they don't have any more on it. But I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys? Yeah, police do have better things to deal with than this dumb crap. And Sean Moore says, Bird of Prey I've seen get smart. Those finger guns are lethal. Mr. Miles is Bird of Prey. What if he was shooting his neighbor in a fantasy theme? We do it in videos all the time. Well, if it was that the neighbor didn't mind, the neighbor wouldn't have called the police, and there wouldn't have been any issue. The only issue here is because the neighbor claimed to have felt threatened. John Street says, Bird of Prey, since you like city skylines and space engineers, try out Paradox's game Surviving Mars. I would, Josh Street, but I don't have more time. Shrum vs. Bird of Prey, didn't you watch Van Helsing? Nope. There are elevators leading to anti-monster fighting bunkers under the Vatican. Alexander says Bird of Prey, if that guy would be black, the police would gas and kill him. Well, maybe. Mr. Miles says Bird of Prey, the Lord told me he wanted me to be wrenched on the Anti-Trackers channel. Well, Mr. Miles, you should convey that to Anti-Tracker, or maybe the Lord will convey it on your behalf. Alexander says, Bird of Prey, I still think The Final Frontier is a masterpiece. I mean, Cybok is such a great character. Without him, everything is good except for Captain so-and-so and his self-pleasuring hobby. I agree, Alexander. The Final Frontier is a much better movie than most people give it credit for. Strawmore says, Bird of Prey, there might be looting. Mike Richards says, the biggest hurricane since 1935. Well, biggest? I don't know.
Yeah.
Biggest is in size? Not strength. I mean, maybe it was at one point. Yes. At the 185 miles per hour, it tied for the highest strength hurricane. Biggest means area. And this is not. This is a fairly compact storm for its size, for its strength. Yeah, I think it gets confusing. Yeah. Hello, Rambling Canuck. Resolute Germ at this point is getting hard to root for society. I agree. Wesley says, Bird of Prey, stop pointing your fingers at Anti-Tracker. That's gun violence. Poo, 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 poo. Mr. Miles says, Bird of Prey. When I said a fantasy theme, I mean like he was doing it to let off stress. Like he was imagining it to feel better. Not because it was a threat. Well, I would say that there's only so far you could go with that. I mean, if you want to do it in the comfort of your house, nobody's going to come after you. But, you know, you can't do everything you want to do in the middle of the street and just say it's to relieve stress, right? I mean, if you want to do something to yourself in your own house, nobody cares. But if you do that same thing out in the middle of the street, you become a sex offender. Okay, so just because you're doing it for yourself, that doesn't mean anything. Kronos is Bird of Prey, so the double-barreled middle fingers takes on a whole new meaning now. Yeah, I mean, we see what, I mean, I'm not advocating lying. I am not. But, you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Put up your hand. The left hand. Now, look at it.
Oh, well, my left hand is permanently in the gun position.
That's right.
That's it. I can't be arrested for this. I just rose my hand and it looks like a gun, but that's how my hand is stuck. I have beaten the law. Left-handed. This is just my left hand. Sorry, people. But regardless. What was I going to say? I lost it. Cronus is calling the cops on me. Oh, right. I don't advocate lying. But if the neighbor, I mean, who's to say he saw it was the middle finger? Maybe the neighbor thought he saw him making the gun point at him. So he was just pointing the gun back at the neighbor. I'm just saying that he probably could have done with a better lawyer. Joseph says, sorry to disagree again, Bird of Prey, but it is about gun culture. In Switzerland, literally every home owns a gun and you have no shootings out there. Cries for gun control are just a result of it. Joseph, Switzerland has a very different population than that of the United States of America. The vast majority of the gun shootings do not happen in rural areas. They happen in inner cities, particularly inner cities where there is people financially poor, not well-to-do. at all. Often on public assistance of types, living in what are virtual ghettos. Huh?
And the guns are legal.
Right, and the guns they have are already legal guns. That's where the majority of the 34,000 or 36,000 homicides each year happen in the United States. You know, the ones that happen in Texas make the news, but those are not even 1% of all the gun deaths in the United States, even if you add up all the mass shootings in any given year. Okay? If not for the cities where that are not comparable in any way to Switzerland, we would have a very low gun death ratio. It's when you add in the cities, which have been run by Democrats for generations and generations, if not, okay, not generations. I mean, New York City had one Republican mayor, had Rudy Giuliani, and that was really helped clean up the city. Before that, it was Democrats. We had Mike Bloomberg, who ran as a Republican once, and then ran independent, and is totally a Democrat in every other sense. He's a Democrat. L.A., San Francisco, New Orleans, Chicago, tons of Democrat, all controlled mayors, city council, all Democrats, and that's where the gun violence is. That's where it is. Stromore says that's pretty gangster, Bird of Prey. Alexander says Bird of Prey, when the street is full of guns, people become very anxious and call the police for everything. Less guns calms down people, and Captain so-and-so can suck balls quietly. Just say Chicago and LA, says Resolute. Mr. Miles says Arnold wasn't a Democrat. He was in charge of Cali for a good while. He was a Republican, but only because that was a ridiculous time when there were like 30 people running for governor because of a recall election that let anybody with the majority of votes, not a 50% plus one, a plurality of votes, actually win the governorship. So, much like Donald Trump, who is not a Republican. Okay, Donald Trump just ran as a Republican because it was easier than running as a Democrat, because Hillary was already the ordained Democratic winner, and everybody knew that from the time, except, I guess, Bernie Sanders. So Donald Trump just ran as a Republican. Donald Trump is more of a Democrat than anything, and if he had to say anything, he's a moderate. But he ran as a Republican because it's much easier to win the presidency when you have the backing of one of the two parties. Arnold Schwarzenegger, much similar. He was happy to just run as a Republican because it's easier when you have the backing of one of the two parties. He is certainly not super Republican man. He never was. Trump never was. And Bloomberg was certainly never Republican. And as soon as he could, he switched to independent. He used Republican only to win mayor the first time after Giuliani, because Giuliani anointed him the next chosen one, because Giuliani couldn't run because of term limits that were enacted during his term by Democrats. And then Bloomberg somehow finds some loophole that he doesn't have to obey the term limits. He's able to get he's able to get a third time at office, long after he left being a Republican, which he was in name only, that even Rudy Giuliani couldn't find. So yeah, Bloomberg, what's good for everyone else is not good for Bloomberg. I wish he runs for president. I hope he does. Bloomberg and de Blasio. Maybe they can go on the same ticket. Richie Poole says Bird is out of control. Dive for cover. Stromore says that's pretty gangster. Bird of Prey. Mr. Miles says Bird of Prey. Arnold wasn't a Democrat. I read that. Joseph's Bird of Prey, you just confirmed what I wrote. It's about the culture. Yes, it is about the culture. But you're getting the guns out isn't going to change the culture. Kenwick says JFK, if you read his 1960 inaugural speech, would be a hardcore Republican today. Possible. I honestly, I'm not sure. Sherman says Donald Trump is a 90s Democrat. Yeah. I mean, the 90s Democrats, and even Hillary Clinton in 2004 or 2005, literally said she was for a border fence. She wanted a giant fence to keep out the illegals. There's video of her saying this stuff. Yeah, Chuck Schumer, as late as 2008 or something, or even maybe 2014, is talking about keeping illegals out. We got to increase our border security. We got to build a fence. Hillary, Bill Clinton, they were all for this. The Republicans were the ones who wanted to keep bringing the so-called illegals in because supposedly Republicans wanted cheap labor. Somehow they flipped on that. When the Democrats realized, we can get more votes, they flipped. And then people who really had probably still wanted border security, when Trump became so toxic, anything Trump wanted, they had to be on the opposite side of. So people who went their entire careers campaigning, like Chuck Schumer, campaigning on tighter border security, overnight flipped and said now he wants less border security, and there's Democrats yelling abolish ICE, open the borders, blah blah blah, and most of the older Democrats are afraid of even opening their mouth to say, hey, this is ridiculous, because they don't want to appear like they agree with Trump on one damn issue. And you know what? Fine. Don't agree with him on that issue. See what happens. Hello, Sassy. Hey, Sassy's getting upset. Wesley says, Bird of Prey, I live in California and voted for Schwarzenegger. We all knew he was not really a Republican, didn't care. It was funny, he won. Yeah, exactly. Joseph says, I totally agree, gun control is unnecessary because it would control only the legal ones. Prohibition never works. Agreed. Kronos says, Bird of Prey, Sassy can sense you are ranting. Yeah, I'm getting Sassy all upset. Okay, one last ridiculous story. Now, I haven't seen this on the real news at all, but 1 dead and 6 injured after a hazmat incident at a California hotel. Now, there was this chemical. There was a woman who died. And some people said it was suicide. They haven't figured it out yet. But the initial report was suicide due to chemical. And apparently some chemical so foul smelling that forced the evacuation of 2 or 3 stories of a big hotel. And the firefighters responding, left and came back in hazmat suits because the odor of this chemical was so foul they didn't want to risk it getting into the pores of their skin. They have no idea what the chemical was. Yeah, floors 18 through 20. So that's 3 floors of the hotel were evacuated. And it was the 19th floor, the middle floor that they used it. They had to evacuate a floor above and a floor under. And not only that, there's got to be a lot of this stuff. Because firefighters brought their own bottles of air so they wouldn't have to breathe the air in the room, which the smell was compared to rotten eggs. The smell made them want to go to the next level of protection, which was less comfortable. Changed into suits that would not absorb the chemicals. Crews were still working Saturday afternoon to identify the chemical involved. The objective is to identify the chemical and come up with a plan to decontaminate the rooms or rooms involved. So they have to decontaminate 3 floors of a hotel. There was liquid on the floor of the room and countertop. Whether that's mouthwash or hazardous chemicals will be determined by chemical testing. Every single puddle in the room will have to be tested. How many puddles were there in this room? All they know is that there's no risk of an explosive hazard. This is a weird story. It's weird, it didn't really get much coverage. And, updated Monday. Okay, we got an update. Let's see. Let's see if there's an update. It was originally reported someone attempted suicide. We cannot confirm. It appears that there's been no real change. So this was a weird one. Damn it, Thomas. Yes, Thomas Spots with a $1.99 super chat. Are you passing kindergarten this year, Bird? Yes, Thomas. I graduated from kindergarten. I got a certificate and everything. I remember the graduation. But thank you for the super chat. Big Apple, yes, Big Apple. You got Sarek, not Sarek, Savick. Excuse me. What did you say?
No, you graduated from Big Apple?
Yes, I graduated from Big Apple kindergarten, yes. Carlo Albanese is in the house. Hello, Carlo. Welcome. Mr. Mouse is more likely to get shot. I'm more likely to get shot than shoot someone. Okay. Resident says this is suicide just as much as Epstein was. Yeah, I don't know. This is a weird one. A weird one. Anyway, guys, Mama prayed, made dinner. I can smell it. It smells good. So I'm going to call it a night here. Don't forget Anti-Trekker streams tonight-ish, 8:30-ish Eastern, around that time. And check out Anti-Trekker's Galaxy Quest Part 4 if you haven't already. It's really good. It's an hour long, so it'll take a while to watch. But it's a good video. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Qapla! Take care. Say sassy. Say good night.
Thank you all for watching my video. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell icon. Without it, you won't get notifications of new videos. Check out BirdoPrey5.com, the new home of everything BirdoPrey5 on the web. You can also check out my forum at juot.net. I'm also on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and Gab. If you'd like to make a donation, check out paypal.me/BirdoPrey5 or on BirdoPrey5.com. Take care.